guys, welcome to 6 Minutes for Thursday, June 2nd. Finally got by NHSCA duels, and just when you thought everything would slow down, well, we got a big weekend ahead. So for those of you that don't know, the U20 World Team Trials are in Geneva, Ohio. U23 Nationals World Team Trials, I'm not 100% sure how they've worked that out, is also taking place in Geneva, Ohio. And then obviously it's a big weekend in Stillwater, Oklahoma, Final X, as well as the National Hall of Fame ceremony. Corey Land is there receiving the Dave Schultz Award for the National Award for winner for the National Award. So big weekend, but we're going to focus on Geneva, Ohio, and all the wrestlers from the Southeast, or all the wrestlers with Southeast ties, and what we can expect watching Flow Wrestling this weekend up in that direction of the country. So let's jump right into it because we've got a ton to cover and not a whole lot of time. So let's jump with the U20 World Team Trials in Greco first, because Greco does start us off tomorrow morning. You can see that the brackets are actually quite small in both Greco and Freestyle at U20s. The reason for that is that I believe that, we're down to basically a champion from the U.S. Open sitting in the finals, waiting on really a small group of individuals who I think have qualified to make this tournament to eventually determine who's going to be our representative. So as you can see, 55 kilos has only 13. Jackson Burks is sitting there waiting in the finals at 55 kilos. Christian Decatur-Luker from North Carolina is in the bracket. Last year's Fargo champion, Dane Dalrymple, is sitting in he is in the bracket with 10 others at 63 kilos, and Hayden Drury is sitting there in the finals. Lytle Kennedy from North Carolina is in the bracket with 6 others at 67 kilos. Robert Perez III from California is actually sitting in the finals, waiting for the winner of that tournament. 72 kilos, got a couple Georgia boys sitting there ready to battle it out with 10 others to see if they can make their way to the finals opposite Richard Fedlin. Jeremy Paradise and RJ Weston are both in the registered for that bracket. And last but not least, the 82 kilos, Ryan Cody. I think he was second last year in Fargo. He is one of 6 at 82 kilos that will try to make their way through tomorrow. So make sure you turn in tomorrow. All right, so let's jump over to the U20 World Team Trials in Freestyle, and then let's talk about the schedule before we get to the large brackets of U23s. So the U20s World Team Trials in Freestyle, more individuals in these brackets, more from the Southeast. Many of these individuals, or some of these individuals, I should say, have ties to the Southeast because of colleges that they attend, not because they necessarily went to high school here, but they have a Southeast state on their registration list, so we're paying attention to them. So at 57 kilos, Tennessee's Cooper Flynn, who's at Virginia Tech, is one of 13 in the bracket. Troy Spradley is waiting on the winner there. 65 kilos, Ryan Jack and Josh Wilson, North Carolina, are two of 18 at 65 kilos. Vince Cornella is waiting on the winner there. 70 kilos, Caleb Henson, future Hokie from Georgia. Cody Chittum, future Gopher, Hawkeye. Anybody want to tell me? From Tennessee is in the bracket. Mitchell Messenbrink is sitting in the finals, waiting on the winner of that bracket, which should be a ton of fun to watch. 74 kilos, we've got Derek Fields from North Carolina. Donald Cates, a very well-known North Carolina kid at NC State, are both in the field there. Alex Facundo is sitting in the finals, waiting on the winners there. 79 kilos, we've got Maddie Singleton from Georgia. Joey Milano in North Carolina, Jaden Williams in North Carolina. They're amongst the 15 in the bracket, hoping to or working to get to the finals against Luca Augustine. 86 kilos, Brock Del Signori from North Carolina. is one of 19 in that bracket. Samuel Fisher sits in the finals. 92 kilos. Georgia's Jackson Smith, current Terp up in Maryland, is actually sitting in the finals, waiting on the 14 in the bracket to come to him. 97 kilos is only got five in the bracket, right? And Ben Cooter is sitting there in the finals. But the 5 are fantastic, according to the registration list, one of which is Georgia's Noah Pettigrew. So Pettigrew, Christian Carroll, I mean, there's a ton that are going to be really, really good. That's going to be a really fun, just few matches to watch. But make sure you check to those. 125 kilos, we got Chase Horn is one of the 13 from Georgia. And Nick Feldman sits in the finals waiting on the winner of that bracket. So let's jump over to the schedule. I started with the U20s because, well, typically as this works is that Friday is Greco Day, and that is what it is. And we'll get to the U23s in a second. But we'll focus on the Greco on Friday, which is tomorrow. And then Saturday, because the U23s are such a large bracket, they'll begin and wrestle all the way through, but they'll actually wrap up on Sunday. Their quarters, semis, and their medal matches will all happen on Sunday. We're talking brackets of 100, 102, 108. So lots and lots of wrestlers in the U23s. The brackets in the U20s are much smaller. So they'll actually wrestle from 9:30 to 2:30, including their quarters and their semis, all the way until we get to the evening on Saturday night for those challenge tournaments and those medal matches in U20s. All right, so let's jump over to the U23 Greco. U23 Greco, you see Christian Decatur Luker again. Remember, you can wrestle U20s and U23, so he's going to go Greco in both. David Medina at 60. Diego Romero at 63 kilos. And you notice that there's no champions here because the U23s don't have a champion waiting in the finals. This is a straight bracket. 72 kilos. We got a couple Georgia kids, Nolan Sorrow and Wyatt Higgins, Luz Masterson, Easton Tobiah. 82 kilos, have 5 of the 17 are from the Southeast. Khalil Mitchell, Finley Allen, Andrew Dixon, Antonio Washington Jr., which I left off there, sorry about that, and Thomas Sell. 87 kilos, Vincent Baker, Christos Avgeros. Baker is up at Duke, but he's listed Georgia as his state. And 130 kilos, we've got Tristan Norris and Rayshawn Dixon. Now remember, these are just registration lists, so as it always happens, it will change. But this is probably who you can expect to see. Freestyle, huge brackets. Make sure you tune in. Check out some of these matches. Let's take a look at the 57, 61, and 65 kilo brackets. And I'm not going to read all the names because there's just a huge number. A couple that pop out, Caleb Smith from North Carolina. They're at 57 kilos in a 47-man bracket. It's going to be a good bracket. Really interested to see how Jarrett Trombley from North Carolina State does. Malik Hardy. 61 kilos. A whole host of Southeast wrestlers. 72 total in the bracket. Some of the names that kind of pop out again. Gabe Hicksonbaugh from Alabama. Caden McCrary, Georgia / North Carolina. Julian Farber, Georgia kid up at UNI. 65 kilos. Solid 100 in the bracket. 100 in the bracket is going to be great. Heath Gagne, Shannon Hanna, who lists North Carolina but is from Florida. Max Kaufman from Alabama. Chris Rivera from Florida. Emory Taylor, now up at the University of Pittsburgh, but repping Tennessee in this one. So that will be a bracket to watch, and it'll be some really, really good, interesting matches. A lot of these wrestlers have moved on, obviously, and are wrestling in college, and it'll be really interesting to see how they do at this next level. Let's jump to 70 kilos and 74 kilos. 70 kilos has 101 in the bracket. Bradley Raina, Hawkeye Wrestling Club in Iowa, but a Florida kid. Justin Rivera up at Campbell, also a Florida wrestler. Vincent Manella, repping Pennsylvania RTC, but obviously from Georgia. Again, I could go on and on. 74 kilos, 108. I think it's the largest bracket in the tournament. Might not be. It's right about that that size, though. Will Formato, North Carolina and App State. We see Donald Cates again. Charlie Derricott from California RTC out in California, or out at Stanford, who is from Georgia. Camden Monroe, RJ Weston, Chandler Amaker, Gavin Cagle. Again, I could go on, but lots and lots of different names in each of these brackets. 79 and 86 kilos. 79 kilos has 102. Douglas Peppers, recent graduate from Bruton Parker, now heading as a grad transfer to Southeastern. Be really interesting to see him wrestle. Will Miller, Riley Augustine from South Carolina, Orrin Bose from North Carolina. Again, tons and tons of different wrestlers. 86 kilos, 90 wrestlers. We have a ton from the Southeast, including Nate Dugan, who's up at Princeton, but repping North Carolina. Obviously, Trent Hidley, who's a Pennsylvania kid, but is at NC State. And then, the ones we know down here in the Southeast based upon their high school accolades, David Bertrand, Jesse Martinez, who I also believe is up at Pennsylvania RTC, Brooks Cesaric, which I slaughter the name all the time. Sorry, Brooks. Sorry, Coach. Tennessee, but out at University of Arkansas Little Rock. It's going to be a great bracket. And then the final brackets, 92 kilos, smaller bracket, Isaac Trumbull, Christian Knopp, who has North Carolina down as his, but obviously an Alabama kid. 97 kilos, only 16 in the bracket, which is so crazy because we have 16 in one bracket and 108 in another bracket. But we've got Eli Doherty from Georgia, Malcolm Wiley from Georgia, Cade Lout from North Carolina, and then 125 kilos, Tyree Houghton, North Carolina kid, but at North Carolina State, Tristan Norris, Owen Trephan. So it'll be really interesting to see how each of the U23s do. Tune in tomorrow for Greco. Remember, Saturday kicks off Freestyle. Lots and lots of matches. I believe it is on Flow Wrestling. Be sure to tune in tomorrow evening for the Greco finals. Make sure you turn in Saturday evening for the best 2 of 3 in Freestyle, and then Sunday afternoon for your U23 finals. So that's it. What else you need to know today? It is Thursday, so probably won't have anything else for tomorrow because I'll be watching wrestling. But coming next week, we will we'll talk a little. We'll break down exactly what happened here. Plus, I've been continuing to do all of the interviews with the Dave Schultz and Tricia Saunders award winners, and I plan on getting those posted beginning next week. Had some great conversations with them, and we have to go ahead and dip our toe in and talk a little bit about all the coaches and all the coaching staffs that were recognized by the NWCA for Coach of the Year and that sort of thing, which I'll try to get to next week as well. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Tune in, watch some great wrestling this weekend, and take care. See you.